Did you know many exercises that appear beneficial are actually causing serious damage to your joints, leading to pain, inflammation, and potentially permanent injury? If you're over 60 and still performing certain high-impact routines, you might be unknowingly accelerating toward joint replacement surgery. Yes, it's that concerning. Your joints aren't what they were decades ago. Cartilage diminishes, joints become less flexible, and recovery takes significantly longer. Here's the alarming truth. Some common exercises that seniors continue to perform are actually hastening joint deterioration. If you want to maintain your mobility and independence for years to come, you need to stop these 6 exercises immediately before they permanently damage your joints. Full-depth knee bends, the express route to joint replacement. Full-depth knee bends might seem like an excellent way to build lower body strength, but for seniors, they're among the most destructive movements for aging joints. When you lower yourself into a full-depth knee bend, your knees flex beyond their natural range, forcing the cartilage and ligaments to stretch under tremendous pressure. At a younger age, your body could manage this strain. Your cartilage was thick, resilient, and capable of absorbing impact. But as you age, that cushion between your bones becomes thinner and more fragile. Each deep bend grinds away what little protection remains, bringing your joints closer to painful bone-on-bone contact. Many seniors don't recognize the danger until it's too late. Initially, the discomfort seems mild, perhaps a slight ache after exercising or stiffness when rising from a chair. But over time, this damage accumulates. The cartilage, already worn from decades of use, begins to crack and erode. The soft tissues surrounding the joint become inflamed, causing sharp pain with every movement. Then one day something shifts, a sudden pop, an intense jolt of pain, and you find yourself unable to stand without agony. What seemed like a simple exercise has now become a serious medical issue, potentially requiring surgery or even joint replacement. The worst part? Joint injuries from full-depth knee bends don't heal as they once did. Your body's ability to repair cartilage diminishes with age. Once that cushioning is gone, it doesn't regenerate. Instead, you're left with chronic inflammation, stiffness, and an increased risk of arthritis. Some seniors continue pushing through the pain, believing it's just a normal aspect of aging. But pain is never normal. It's your body's warning that something is wrong, that something is breaking down. Ignore it, and you may soon face reduced mobility, endless medical appointments, and a lengthy recovery process that may never fully restore your independence. Joint damage doesn't happen overnight, which makes it so dangerous. The destruction is gradual, almost imperceptible at first. But every time you force your knees into deep flexion, you accelerate the process. And once the damage is done, there's no turning back. The question is, how much longer can your joints endure before they give out completely? If you think full-depth knee bends are problematic, wait until you hear about the next exercise that's been silently destroying seniors' joints for years. Keep reading, because this one might surprise you. Jogging on concrete, the invisible. Joint destroyer jogging has long been celebrated as one of the finest exercises for maintaining fitness. But for seniors, it can be one of the most damaging activities for your joints, especially when done on concrete or other hard surfaces. Each step sends a powerful shockwave up your legs, hitting your joints with force that can reach up to 5 times your body weight. When you were younger, your joints could absorb this impact more efficiently. Your cartilage was thicker, more elastic, and able to bounce back. But with age, that resilience fades. The cartilage that once cushioned your joints has thinned, and instead of absorbing the impact, your joints now take the full force of every step. Initially, the signs are subtle. Slight morning stiffness, a dull ache after a walk, mild discomfort when navigating stairs. These are warnings, your body's way of telling you that your joints are under excessive stress. But many seniors ignore these signals, pushing through the discomfort, believing it's simply part of getting older. The truth is, it's not just aging, it's damage. Jogging on unforgiving surfaces accelerates joint deterioration, stripping away the final layers of cartilage protecting your bones. And once that cartilage is gone, it's gone forever. What follows is a painful reality: chronic inflammation, swelling, and the agonizing friction of bone rubbing against bone with every movement. Some joggers don't realize the extent of the harm until one day their joint simply fails. A sudden sharp pain, a loud pop, and the inability to bear weight on the leg. This is how meniscus tears, ligament damage, and severe osteoarthritis begin. Recovery isn't as simple as rest and ice anymore. Instead, it leads to months of therapy, injections, and frequently surgery. Even then, the joint may never feel the same again. The mobility you once took for granted becomes a daily struggle, transforming simple tasks like standing from a chair or climbing a few stairs into painful challenges. And the worst part? Many seniors who experience joint breakdown from jogging find themselves completely sidelined from activities they once enjoyed. The freedom to take long walks, to play with grandchildren, to remain independent, all gradually taken away by the very exercise they thought was keeping them healthy. But jogging isn't the only hidden danger. There's another exercise that many seniors believe is helping their strength, but is actually pushing their joints to the breaking point. Listen carefully, because the next one could be even worse. High-impact jumping activities, the silent. Joint record jumping activities might seem like a great way to maintain agility and strength, but for seniors, they are a silent destroyer of joint health. The very motion of jumping, launching off the ground and landing with force, sends an extreme amount of pressure through the joint. In your younger years, your body could handle this stress. Your tendons, ligaments, and cartilage were strong and flexible, capable of absorbing the shock. But as you age, your joints lose that elasticity. The cushioning becomes thinner, your ligaments become less resilient, and your ability to recover from impact slows dramatically. Each jump delivers a devastating blow to a joint that's already weakened by time. At first, it might not seem significant. Perhaps you feel slight discomfort after a workout, a twinge of pain when you land a little too hard. You tell yourself it's normal, that it will pass. But that pain is more than just discomfort, it's a warning sign. Every time your feet hit the ground, the impact creates micro tears in the cartilage, tiny injuries that over time accumulate into something far more serious. These small tears don't heal the way they used to. Instead, they accumulate, wearing down the protective layer that prevents your bones from grinding against each other. The result? Chronic inflammation, stiffness, and pain that persists. And then one wrong landing is all it takes. A moment of imbalance, a slightly off-center step, and suddenly something shifts. A sharp, searing pain shoots through your joint, and you realize you can't stand without assistance. This is how ligament tears happen. This is how seniors find themselves with a torn meniscus, an ACL injury, or even a complete joint failure. The recovery is lengthy, difficult, and often incomplete. Months of physical therapy may help, but the joint is never quite the same again. Many seniors who suffer these injuries face the one thing they feared most: a loss of mobility and independence. The worst part is that these injuries don't just affect your workouts, they impact your everyday life. Walking becomes painful, stairs feel impossible, even rising from a chair can be a struggle. What was once a simple movement, something you never thought twice about, now feels like an insurmountable challenge. But the dangers don't end here. There's another exercise that, while seemingly safe, is actually placing enormous strain on your joints. An exercise that could be quietly wearing down your joints with every repetition. Keep reading, because what you're about to learn next may surprise you. Machine press with heavy resistance, the silent cartilage destroyer. The resistance press machine may look like a safe and controlled way to strengthen your legs, but for seniors, it can be one of the most deceptive and dangerous exercises for joint health. The very design of the machine encourages a false sense of security. You're seated, your back is supported, and all you need to do is push. But what most people don't realize is that the leg press places an enormous amount of strain on the joints, far beyond what they were designed to handle as they age. When you load heavy weights onto the machine and press them upward, your joints are forced into an unnatural position, absorbing the full impact of the resistance. Over time, this repetitive stress causes irreversible damage. grinding away at the cartilage that protects your joints. Initially, it doesn't feel like much. Maybe there's a little stiffness afterward, a slight ache that lingers for a few hours. But these small warning signs are just the beginning. As you continue to push heavier weight, the pressure on your joints compacts the cartilage, squeezing out the essential fluids that keep it lubricated and flexible. Without this cushioning, your bones begin to press against each other with every repetition, leading to chronic inflammation, swelling, and sharp pain that doesn't subside. Many seniors dismiss the discomfort as simple muscle soreness, but the truth is far more alarming. You're wearing down your joint with every press, accelerating the onset of arthritis and joint deterioration. Then comes the moment that changes everything, a sudden sharp pain, mid-repetition, a feeling like something has torn deep inside the joint. You try to lower the weights, but your leg refuses to cooperate. You've just suffered a serious injury, perhaps a meniscus tear, a ruptured ligament, or even a bone fracture. Recovery is slow, often painful, and never quite complete. Even if you manage to heal, the damage has been done, and your joint will never regain its full strength or stability. The worst part? These injuries don't just take away your ability to exercise, they rob you of your independence. Climbing stairs becomes a struggle. Getting in and out of the car is an ordeal. Walking short distances feels like a marathon. What was once an effortless movement is now a painful reminder of a decision that should have been avoided. And yet there's still one more exercise that seniors believe is helping them stay strong when, in reality, it's wreaking havoc on their joints with every single repetition. If you thought heavy leg presses were dangerous, just wait until you hear about this next one. It's an exercise most people never question, yet it could be leading you straight to surgery. Keep reading, because what comes next is something you cannot afford to ignore. Forward lunges, the joint ligament destroyer. Forward lunges are often recommended as a great way to build strength and balance, but for seniors, they can be one of the most dangerous exercises for aging joints. At first glance, lunges seem simple. Just step forward, lower your body, and push back up. But what many don't realize is that lunges place extreme strain on the joint, especially for older adults whose cartilage is already wearing thin. The deep bending motion forces the joint into a vulnerable position, stretching the ligaments and grinding away at what little cushion remains. Initially, the discomfort might feel minor, maybe a little tightness, a dull ache that lingers after your workout. But those small signals are warnings. Every time you lunge, you're forcing your joints to bear an unnatural load, putting pressure on the meniscus and straining the surrounding ligaments. The front knee absorbs most of the impact, while the back knee is bent at an angle that can cause unnecessary stress on already fragile joints. Over time, this repeated movement leads to chronic inflammation, swelling, and eventual cartilage breakdown. The protective tissue between your bones starts to erode, and once that happens, every step becomes a painful reminder of the damage that's been done. Then one day, something goes wrong. A slight misstep, a lunge that goes just a little too deep, and suddenly a sharp pain shoots through your joint. You feel something shift inside, something that doesn't feel right. This is how ligament tears, meniscus damage, and even dislocations happen. And once the damage is done, there's no turning back. Recovery is long, difficult, and often incomplete. Physical therapy may help, but in many cases the joint never fully recovers. What was once a simple movement, walking across the room, standing up from a chair, now feels impossible. The worst part? Many seniors don't even realize that their joint pain started with lunges. The damage happens gradually, making it easy to ignore at first. But by the time the pain becomes unbearable, the joint is already compromised. Some push through the discomfort thinking they just need to strengthen their legs. Others stop exercising altogether, fearing any movement will make things worse. Either way, the result is the same: a loss of mobility, independence, and quality of life. But here's the thing. Lunges aren't the only everyday movement that could be slowly destroying your joints. In fact, there are habits and routines most seniors follow that unknowingly worsen joint pain and accelerate joint damage. Keep reading, because what you're about to hear next might be the key to saving your joints before it's too late. Stair climbing with heavy loads, the hidden threat to aging. Joint stair climbing has always been seen as a functional everyday movement, something we do without a second thought. But for seniors, climbing stairs while carrying heavy loads or repeatedly stressing the joints can be a silent threat, slowly wearing down the joints and accelerating deterioration. While walking up and down stairs may seem harmless, the mechanics of this movement place tremendous strain on aging joints, especially when combined with extra weight in the hands, arms, or back. Every single step requires your joint to support more than double your body weight, forcing it to absorb. Repeated stress often leading to inflammation, stiffness, and long-term damage. At first, you might feel only a slight discomfort, a little soreness after carrying groceries up the stairs, or a brief tightness in your joints when descending. But these minor aches are signals. Over time, the pressure exerted on the joint during stair climbing starts to erode the cartilage, weakening the protective layer between the bones. The ligaments and tendons that hold the joint together begin to stretch beyond their capacity, creating small tears that, though unnoticeable at first, add up over the years. Eventually, the joints no longer have the resilience to recover. The pain becomes constant and every step up or down starts to feel like a battle. Then one day something shifts. Maybe you misstep, maybe your joint gives out unexpectedly, or maybe it's just one stair too many. A sudden sharp pain shoots through your joint, and before you can catch yourself, you find yourself reaching for a railing, hoping your joint doesn't completely collapse beneath you. This is how meniscus tears, ligament strains, and injuries occur. The very activity that once seemed so natural has now become a risk, an obstacle that can no longer be ignored. Even more concerning, descending the stairs is often more damaging than climbing them. The downward motion forces the joint to absorb an incredible amount of impact, far more than it was designed to handle in later years. With every downward step, the joint struggles to stabilize itself, increasing the risk of sudden failure. Many seniors begin avoiding stairs altogether, fearing the sharp, burning pain that comes with each descent. The problem isn't just physical, it's emotional too. Losing the ability to climb stairs freely can feel like losing control over your independence, a slow realization that everyday life is becoming harder than it should be. Some seniors believe that staying active will help keep their joints strong, pushing through the pain in hopes that it will eventually subside. But the truth is, the more they ignore these warning signs, the more they set themselves up for long-term damage. Damage that may lead to the very thing they fear most: a life of restricted movement, endless doctor visits, and the looming possibility of joint replacement surgery. At this point, you've heard the warning signs. The exercises you once trusted, the movements you thought were keeping you healthy, may actually be leading you toward irreversible joint damage. But what if you could change course before it's too late? What if there were safer, smarter ways to stay strong without sacrificing your mobility? The choices you make today will determine whether you keep moving freely or face the painful reality of joint deterioration. The question is, what will you do next? What to do? Instead, protecting your joints without sacrificing strength. Avoiding high-risk exercises doesn't mean giving up on strength, mobility, or fitness. It means training smarter, not harder. The key to preserving your joint health while staying active is choosing movements that build strength without causing unnecessary wear and tear. Your joints have carried you through a lifetime of movement, and now they need your protection. Every decision you make about exercise today will determine whether you continue moving freely in the years ahead, or whether pain and joint deterioration rob you of that independence. The first step is understanding that low impact doesn't mean ineffective. In fact, the right low-impact exercises can be just as powerful as their high-impact counterparts. Movements that focus on controlled strength, stability, and joint support are the foundation of joint-friendly fitness. Exercises like swimming, cycling, and elliptical training keep the heart strong without pounding the joints. Strength training, with lighter weights and higher repetitions, builds muscle without overstressing the joints. Even something as simple as walking on soft surfaces instead of pavement can dramatically reduce long-term joint strain. Flexibility and balance must also Be prioritized. Tight muscles pull on the joint, increasing stress and reducing mobility. Regular gentle stretching, yoga, and Tai Chi help keep the muscles surrounding the joint flexible and strong, reducing strain and preventing stiffness. Balance exercises, like standing on one leg or using a stability ball, improve joint stability, reducing the risk of falls and injuries that could lead to permanent joint damage. But perhaps the most overlooked aspect of protecting the joints is listening to your body. Pain is not a sign of a good workout. It's a warning. It means something isn't right. The idea that you should push through the pain is outdated and dangerous, especially as you age. Discomfort is one thing, but sharp pain, swelling, or lingering soreness after exercise is a red flag. Ignoring these signals leads to long-term damage that could have been prevented. The goal isn't just to stay active. It's to stay active in a way that preserves your mobility for the years ahead. There's no point in forcing exercises that destroy your joints if they take away your ability to move freely later in life. What truly matters is maintaining the strength to get out of a chair without struggling, to walk without pain, to climb stairs with ease, and to keep up with the moments in life that matter most. Your joints are your foundation. Treat them with care, and they will carry you forward. Make the right choices today so you don't have to face regret tomorrow. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this article, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Thank you for reading, and here's to living life on your own terms.